searching the nearby altar, I found a disturbing object. A bulging pouch of organic material with a damp layer of skin surrounding it. What a repugnant thing. But realizing that the floor was covered with bloodstains, I quickly forgot my thoughts and allowed the echoes of past tragedies to soothe me. It felt gratifying to see defeats this close. Oh, he had it coming. What on earth was that fellow dodging around for? He looked plain ridiculous with that helmet. You reap what you sow, my dear. Just like that, those precious glimpses of other people's misery led me to a lift that took me up to the next floor. What was this? Why would fellow travelers even jump onto that thing? No true knight had any good reason to play on profane statues as if they were toddlers on wooden horses. I gazed at the surroundings and felt nothing but fatigue and a dash of misanthropy. The inhabitants of this manor had been waylaid by a superstitious cult of snake worshippers, and as I soldiered on, I bore witness not only to an ancient town slowly receding into an ocean of lava, but also a steady stream of sickly creatures. There were iron maidens, slimy snake guards, and even those disgusting beings, sadly imprisoned by matter, both thick and blackened. It was at this point that I discovered a lift going down, and before long I arrived at the very temple where I had bested that abominable swordsman. Going up again, however, I somehow discovered a hidden chamber full of nothing but emptiness and the broken dreams of a lone ghoul. Imagine living your life in servitude, only to end up on a stained mattress as a withered corpse. I found myself wondering how this once seething center of civilized behavior had degenerated to such a degree. What had caused this failure of morals? That indecent obscenity back in the temple had corrupted the entire estate from its very roots. Oh no, please not again. Losing any urge for further nostalgic contemplation, I returned to where that hidden assassin had been lurking. But before tearing that snake to pieces, I couldn't help noticing piles of lowly servants, just like those outside the gates. Had this entire world simply gone mad, or was it perpetually entranced in a haze of bloodlust and purges? Generously given the opportunity to return pain and suffering, I came down on the slithering guard and began feeling rejuvenated again. Entering another suggestively lit room, with the last killing still ringing in my ears, I sensed that something was about to be revealed. Sure enough, the large, heavy doors opened to an outlandish sight. Several of those poisonous fellows knelt before a gravestone. Scattered across the floor, adorned with luxurious carpets, were even more bones in the process of decomposition. What had been going on here, and why were they moaning? The sounds echoed through the great hall, making me shiver with disgust. For no particular reason, I decided I would be better off going the other way. I left whatever was waiting on the stairs behind. This decision was made with icy logic, where lesser souls might have been driven this way by unbecoming fear. Upon feeding two small imps, hungry for stone keys, I was granted entrance to a dark corridor, which in turn led me to a peculiarly foreboding and large room. What was it with this manor and its off-putting obsession with crates? Yet had it not been for a kind message from another traveler revealing precious knowledge, I most likely wouldn't have found the secret path which took me even further down into this building of depravity. Truth be told, from this point on, I didn't feel particularly pleased with either myself or the situation as a whole. This part of the manor was macabre, and even though I found a clearly valuable talisman reeking of power, I still couldn't fend off a distinct sense of dread. These bleak circumstances forced me to perform dexterous acrobatics, more befitting a nimble jester in some degenerate court than a warrior haunted by gloomy notions of Untergang. Finally, I reached the suspiciously sticky ground floor of this bizarre and troubling place, only to find myself greedily embraced by a pack of hideous monstrosities lurking in the shadows. Moaning with pain, I was killed in moist and unwanted intimacy. Annoyed, and honestly a little rattled as well, I somehow managed to get back into that eerie space of suffocating flesh, and ran like there was no tomorrow. After acquiring rare knowledge at the far end of this nauseating part of the manor, I noticed a curious painting of a long-forgotten nameless king. As I was being chased, I realized that his fierce appearance most likely concealed impotence, as was often the case. Oh, precious light. I had managed to escape the critters, but even as I now sought to flee one of those stern iron maidens, those bulgy creatures followed me outside. I did my best, but to no avail, and before I knew it, they were all over me, biting and tearing, even with that dictator of a damsel chiming in as well. To hell with this place and those despicable things. Having decided instead to see what was up those stairs, what were they looking at? Never mind. I wanted to go the other way now. No reason to intrude on creatures clearly yearning to be left alone. Back at the stairs, I saw the thing for what it was. An unhatched extremity. What a sick place. But of course, this was a dead end, and with those slimy snake guards doing their best to end me, I manically dodged their relentless attacks until I was blessed with the means to escape. I'd been transported to a secluded cave, without even the slightest sign of trouble. I was able to breathe freely once again. Another shimmering wall was down here, but considering the amount of suffering that fleshy wielder of black flames had caused me, I doubted that this would even be a challenge. After stumbling upon heaps of skulls littering the ground and noticing abnormally sized chandeliers, I found myself in an enormous cave with smoldering pillars composed of scorched corpses. I had never even thought such an abhorrent devastation of bodies to be possible. But what was the strange object in that fiery pit? It was too large to be a living organism, yet the object seemed to shiver, as if trapped in an uneasy sleep. Oh no, their snake god had not been a false idol after all. It was alive.